Happy Sunday, and we are glad to have you here with us. Welcome to This Thing of Ours podcast,
where we talk about all of life's highs and lows.
And everything in between. Curtis, how was your week?
My week was good. Nothing very exciting happened, but nothing bad happened, which is always a good thing. But yeah, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. I mean, other than work, which is work. My parents came down this weekend. They came down the Friday, and I love when they come visit me. I do. Not only do they like, oh, you don't have food in your fridge, but this time we had food.
Well, we bought food on our way home.
Yeah, we did groceries on Friday,
and they were already here.
Yeah, so they saw how empty our fridge was.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. No, but they came here because they were I asked my dad to help build this thing that I wanted for the garage. Do you want to explain more like what it is?
It's basically just a tire rack, like somewhere we can store our winter tires. Because we do live in Canada, we need 2 sets of tires here because your basic summer tire, all-season tire does not work in Canada. You will be sliding all over the road.
I'm sure there's some good all-season tires.
If you have an all-wheel drive car, they are better. But if you just have a basic front-wheel drive or a rear-wheel drive car, they are definitely not the tire to be using in the winter. Anyway, so it has the bottom rack for the tires, and then it has 2 shelves to store stuff on.
And then like he also made another section where we can hang up our shovels, because you guys know that it snows in Canada and it snows a lot. Winter is my favorite season. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that already on this podcast. My dad built that with Curtis. And, you know, as I was watching you guys build this thing, I was like, literally, your relationship with my dad has grown so much. And I couldn't help but like think about that over the weekend. I was like, wow, like there was a time where like Curtis didn't even talk. I was like, this is like he talks so much with me, right? But then when you get around, you know, your other significant others, parents or their family, it's like, are you shy? Are you not? And you were so, I don't want to say you were shy. I think you were just very observant. My mom has even called me over and was like, you know, Curtis is very observant, isn't he? And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Like, he analyzes people pretty well, I guess. But yeah, like going back to like you and my dad's relationship, I'm really happy that you guys have built a relationship and like you actually talk to him and you know you do things with him and stuff like that, because he doesn't have a son, you know, he has 3 daughters. But yeah, you know, he has 3 daughters, and it's nice to see you know, get along with him and do things like that. But I wanted to ask if you remember what it was like to meet my parents for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been following us for a little while now, you know we've been dating for about 6 years now. And
some bumps.
Yes, there were a few. No relationship is perfect. But yeah, I do kind of remember, and it is a big difference from now. But yeah, you first told me that they were coming down to visit in Sudbury because we were both going to school there. And they lived 8 hours away, so they were planning to stay the weekend or the whole week or whatever it was, right? And I was like, uh-oh.
It's so funny, because my mom already knew who you were before you met her. And that was because she is literally an investigation person, okay? Like, we had each other on Facebook, and then he was commenting on my pictures. And you left one comment on my photo that was a recent post. And my mom called me. She was like, who's this boy coming in your picture? I never met him. Who is he? And I'm like,
you haven't even told. Yeah, you didn't even tell her at this point that you were talking to anybody. Nothing.
Nope.
But she found out somehow.
Yeah, she just went through. She was just like looking at the comments. Oh, I know this person. Curtis?
Who's this?
Click on his profile. Went through his entire profile, all his pictures. And then she was like, called me. Who's this boy? Who's Curtis? Why? I'm like, a friend. Who is he? I'm like, a friend. You dating him? No. And how do you know about Curtis? Oh, it's just because I saw him comment on your pictures. I was wondering who he was. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I wonder if I'm going to be like that as a mom.
Probably. I don't doubt it at all.
Put my investigation hat on.
Yeah. But yeah, so I know that I did meet your mom first, like in person, and then I met your dad second. And I know I was more nervous to meet your dad than meet your mom because I know, like, you talked to your mom on speakerphone, like you FaceTimed or whatever with her many times. So I kind of already met her in a sense. So I felt a little bit more comfortable meeting her.
Like you heard her voice.
Yeah.
And how relaxed she is.
Yeah. So like I already kind of met her, just not in person. Whereas your dad, I didn't at all.
Yeah.
So I was more nervous to meet him. And yeah, I don't know. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I do remember that you were home with them at your apartment at the time, and I had to come by.
Yeah.
And I just remember you saying, "Ooh, he was sweating." I don't know if you can explain that better, but
yeah, I have a really good memory for like funny events, right?
yeah.
And for me, this was priceless. I'm like, oh, my dad's really nice, which he is to some of my friends.
Some of them.
And I remember, like, I didn't tell you that they were over. I remember I just said, oh, yeah, come over, come hang out. So you came over, and I opened the door, and I closed it right behind me. And I was like, Curtis, my parents are here. And you're like, oh, what? Why did you tell me? I would have dressed better. And then as I'm opening the door again, I just take one more glance at Curtis, and you can see the droplets on this guy's forehead. I was like, it's gonna be okay. I'm like, they're not scary. They're nice people. He's like, I know. Okay. He was sweating. Chris, you were sweating so much, man. Like, I just remember you were wearing a white shirt too. That shirt was gray from underneath the armpit sweat.
It wasn't that bad.
Bro.
There's no way.
Bruh. You were sweating so much. And I'm curious to know, any males or females out there, when you meet your significant other's parents, how do you guys remember how you guys were when you first met them? Like, were you nervous? Were you sweating? Or were you just chill? Like, oh, I know they're going to like me. Like, comment below. I'm curious to know. Like, that's going to be our social cue question.
If you don't know what a social cue is, we mentioned this in one of our previous podcasts, but basically we want to hear what you guys think. So on Instagram, if you want to follow us there, we will put up a question and you can write your answer in there. And some of the answers that we get, we will mention them in the next podcast. And
yes, we will read your answers anonymously if you guys want us to. But yeah.
So I feel like your family was a little bit different in a sense of, like, I had already talked to your mom off and on the phone, like through speakerphone with you. You've told me about your dad and that he was nice and all this stuff. And I knew that your sister was already at the time dating someone that was white.
Okay.
So I knew in that sense that they would be more accepting that I was white. So I wasn't nervous about that part of it, right? Kind of, I was still, like, let's be honest. It was still a question in my mind. But the fact that your sister was already dating someone that was white made it a little bit easier to know that they would be okay with it.
Okay.
But yeah, so other than that, I mean, I was nervous. I'm not going to lie. And I was shy. I didn't talk as much as I do now. Like, now I can actually have conversations with them and I do things with them. But at the time, I waited for them to ask me stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't really say anything. And I just kind of was there.
Yeah, you just smiled and turned red.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It was very interesting, and I'm glad we've kind of gotten past that point.
Hmm.
And now, like you said earlier, like we actually do stuff together. We build things, and we can actually
Yeah, you went for
hold.
a bike ride
Yeah.
with him, and
Mhm.
no, it's nice to see you do that
Mhm.
though.
Like we still don't see them that often, mind you, because we do live out of town, right?
Mhm. But
But
we live closer now.
we live closer now, yes. So we will be seeing your parents more often
Hmm.
than we did when we were living in Sudbury, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, from your perspective, how was it when I met them?
Honestly, I was enjoying the entire time. I was sitting back like smiling, smiling, and actually laughing to myself because I knew you were so nervous,
Mm-hmm.
and um, I just I understood why you're nervous because obviously when you're meeting someone else's parents, it's it's scary. You know, even meeting just your friend's parents, it's scary because it's like you want them to like you. You know, you don't want them to think you're a bad influence on
Mm-hmm.
someone that their child.
Yep.
So I know it's scary, but it's funny because when it's opposite, you're the one that's sitting back in the cool chair, like, don't worry, bro, it's all good. But you
Mm-hmm.
know, if things were reversed, which obviously it was for me to meet your mom,
Mm-hmm.
you're in the hot seat,
Yep.
right? And it's you now with the pressure, while the other person's like, this is my mom, this is Amelia, hey,
Yep.
what's up? When I first met your mom, like I was like, okay, let me put my makeup on, let me put a nice shirt, because I think she wanted to meet me early in this relationship.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, because you told her we were dating before we were actually dating.
No, I said I was seeing someone. That not that we were dating yet. We actually met in December, and then in February, that's when like you still hadn't met my mom at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So she asked um, for me to take a picture with you because I guess she wanted to see. I mean, I had already shown her pictures of you on Facebook, which I know you probably did already to your mother, or she
No,
found them
she
herself.
found them herself. I didn't show her who you were.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't going to tell my family anything about you for like at least close to a year. And
Yeah.
that was just because I didn't want to. If we didn't work out, I just felt like it would have been not like a waste of time for them to meet you, but it was like, well, what happened to so and so?
Mm.
Or do you still talk to so and so? Like, I don't like when people bring up
Past relationships.
past relationships, you know, because that has happened to me in other relationships where I met
Mhm.
their parents, and right in front of me, they would be like, "So what happened to so and so?" And it's like, so I guess I'm not good enough. Like right there, it's like you don't like that person.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you don't like the new girlfriend right there, and that always bothered me. So I was like, okay, you know what? If I'm gonna actually let someone else meet my parents, I want to make sure that this person's right for me.
Mhm.
I didn't tell you, but I know you've asked, like, do you think I'm gonna meet your parents like anytime soon? And I was always like, not yet, you
Mhm.
know. And there was a point where you didn't want to meet them yet. You were nervous, and then to go to Montreal to meet
Yeah, yeah.
them.
To go to their place, yes,
Yeah,
and to stay with them for a whole week.
yeah. Why were you so nervous though? Like, not just to stay with them, but like to meet my rest of my family.
Well, I don't know. You kind of brought up a good point that kind of relates to that. Um, you were mentioning how like the reason why you're nervous to meet the parents is because you don't know if they're going to accept you, first of all, if they think you're good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like what does this guy have going for him that will be able to support my daughter and have a life with her, basically. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like that's the things that run through our head when we have to meet our girlfriends or boyfriends parents. Just you know are they going to accept us for who we are and allow us, sort of,
Mm-hmm.
without judging us? And like at the time, I was in school, like, so I guess that's something that I'm building towards. But at the time, I didn't have a job necessarily. I was in school. I started tutoring while I was in school, but that's really all I was doing. And then I also didn't have a car. My last car I hit a moose with, and that was a write-off, and I never ended up getting another one at that point, like when I met you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of things that was kind of questionable about me at the time, and I didn't know if they would be okay with that if
Mm-hmm.
I told them everything that kind of was going on, right?
I guess I can say the same thing with your mom. You know, when
Mm-hmm.
I met her, I was nervous because I didn't really know much about your previous relationships, but you've said that all your girlfriends met your mom, you know, and I was scared. She was like, all right, this is just another girlfriend, you know, that he's gonna date for a bit and then he's moving on to the next one. So I was like, ooh, is she gonna like me? Like, what's she gonna think? And, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous too about me meeting your mom
Mm-hmm.
because it's like I am Curtis's first black girlfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're gonna talk about race, and I was like, "Ooh, is she gonna like me? Like, how was she gonna think?" Because, like I said, back in the day, there was not that many black people in Sudbury.
No, there wasn't.
When we started dating, I was like, "Is your
Mm-hmm.
mom gonna like me?" Or, yeah, she dated a black person before, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, but is she gonna like me?" Like, I feel like when mothers have just sons, I feel like they're very protective over them compared to if
Yeah.
they have a son and a daughter, you know? That's just like from previous, you know, relationships that I've seen. I find like it's harder for the mom to accept you when she has just one child, which is
Mm-hmm.
her boy, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
two, or just sons in general. It's harder to accept another woman, I think, into that relationship.
Yeah, I feel like mothers are more protective of their sons,
Yeah.
and then fathers are more protective of their daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually feel like that's the way it works for some reason.
Because I get along with your grandpa
Mm-hmm.
very well, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't nervous to meet your grandpa. I think your grandpa was actually nervous to meet me.
Maybe, yeah, probably.
That's how I felt. That was the energy he gave me.
Mm.
But when it came to your mom, but then when we actually sat down because you left us, you're like, all right, I'm gonna go to the store because your mom asked to go get something. I don't know if that was planned, but your mom was like, oh, can you go to the store first to get me something? And I was like, can I come? Because I didn't want to be left alone.
No, it was not planned.
And then you're like, no, stay here and talk to my mom. And I was just like,
Why is he leaving me here? Do not do this to me.
that was exactly what was going through my mind. But man, your mom was just talking to me, and we actually just had a conversation. I was like, I like her.
Mhm.
I like her.
Yeah, my mom was very easy to get along with.
Yeah.
If she likes you.
Yeah.
But what did she say about me?
When you left, she like gotta like peek to make sure you close the door, and she was like, I'm not lying. I swear, this is what she said to me. She was like, Amelia, you're the best thing that ever happened to that boy. I was like, this woman just met me.
But in all fairness, so when I met her, I was still like I'd somewhat changed my style, but I still had like short shaved head, like a little fade. I was still wearing somewhat baggy clothes, like the 2000 style. I somewhat changed it myself a little bit, but not really. But you really like transformed me into basically what I am now and helped me like change my style up.
To be more presentable in this era.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So yeah, I feel like that was part of it. As I mentioned in one of our previous podcasts, I was not very good student, but because I was with Amelia, we actually sat down and did our homework, and I was getting like straight A's in all my college courses, right? Like I had like a 4.0, like honor roll, everything. Basically because we actually sat down and did homework together and we studied together. So all that together, my mom was like, you are the best thing that's happened to him. You really changed him.
But I was like, no, Chris is doing that all by himself. And she's like, no, he's not. No, he's not. He must really like you. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
But like inside, I was like, I was just happy though that it went well and she liked me and it was just a great time. Yeah. I was really nervous to meet your brother because I didn't really know what your brother was like. I've seen pictures of your brother from just snooping on your Facebook, but I didn't really know what he was like. Your brother was nice. He was quiet too. He just sat there and looked at me, trying to I guess he was trying to observe my personality at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember actually the first time you met like my whole side of my family on my mom's side.
Mm-hmm.
I think you came over for a Thanksgiving or a Christmas dinner.
I think it was a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. Either way, how was that experience?
Meeting your Italian side.
Yeah.
It was nerve-wracking. It was loud. But other than that, I was nervous. I didn't talk. I too was sweating because now you're meeting a whole family at a family dinner, and they were just like questioning me, like, "Oh, so what do you do? Do you go to school? What are you in school for?" And I already knew they knew the answers because this guy told my whole story before I even got to even tell my story.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
Not the whole story.
No, but me, your only girl cousin, it's different, right? Because I only have one boy cousin technically, right, on my side. So meeting your only girl cousin was totally different. I like her. She was funny. She seems very happy. And yeah, they were like, Amelia, you're so quiet. This family's loud. You can't be shy around here. And I was like, I'm not shy. Like, when you are shy, you do like a different tone in your voice. Yeah, that was me. That was me back in the day. Yeah, I want to say I'm still shy around your family, but not so much around your mom and your brother anymore.
Yeah,
it's now it's just the people who I don't really get to see.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The more you see people, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get more comfortable with them, and I feel like that's how I've gotten to be with your parents and your family in general. Like we go over to your aunt's house, she comes over to your parents' house. Even your cousin that lives in the States, like she comes down once in a while, and I've gotten a little bit more comfortable talking to her. But it's just natural, like, to be nervous at first. There's a lot of things that run through your mind, and you want to you don't want to say the wrong things. You want to present yourself in a way that they're gonna not look at you sideways, like, why is she with him?
Yeah.
So like you're kind of reserved at first, but as you get to know them, you're like, oh, these people are pretty chill. So
yeah,
what do I have? Why be nervous? But
and
yeah,
even meeting your German side family, right? Meeting your grandpa. Your grandpa is such a sweet old man. He's very accepting. I like how he always, when he calls you, he always says, "And how's Amelia doing?"
Yep.
So he's super nice. But meeting them I met them also at Thanksgiving dinner, and they had the best apple pie I have ever tasted. And usually, right, when I go to someone's house, I'll have a small plate of food and a small piece of dessert. Because, you don't want to take too much because, like, what if you don't like their cooking? Like, has that ever happened to you guys where, like, you took a big plate of someone's food or you went to someone else's house and they offered you food and you didn't like it? So I was nervous that I wasn't going to like it. And then they would have called me out being like, oh, you didn't finish your dinner. Did you not like it? I was so scared they're going to say that, but the food was really good.
Yeah.
When it came down to dessert, they're like, do you like apple pie? And I was like, oh, I love apple pie. But I was like, ooh. What if? And
I had already told them that that's your favorite. That's why they had it.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh, what if their apple pie doesn't taste good? So I took a skinny piece of it. And let me tell you guys, this was the best apple pie I've ever tasted. And usually, okay, from the previous times I went over to Chris's mom's house, he always says, like, oh, do you want more food? Do you want another plate? And I'd be like, no, I'm okay. So this time I was waiting patiently because I was super shy. I didn't want to ask for more apple pie. So I'm waiting till Curtis finished his dessert. And I'm waiting. Okay, he's going to ask me for another piece of apple pie. And then I'm going to get a bigger slice. I'm waiting. And then Curtis just got up, took my plate, took his, and then went to the sink. And that was it. I was like, where's I wanted another piece of apple pie.
But you didn't say that out loud. You just said that in your head.
Yeah. I was like, oh, man.
And then I heard it later.
Yes. I was like, why did you ask me for another plate? Why did you say, Amelia, did you want another piece? I was waiting because I didn't want to be rude, you know? So I just sat there. I just sat there. I was mad. I was mad at you because like you always ask me, and I didn't want to come off as being greedy, I guess. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So
You wanted me to ask because it was your first time meeting them.
yeah.
And if I asked, it was going to be okay for you to say yes.
Mm-hmm. And I was so mad when he didn't ask me for another piece. But yeah, no, I think both sides of your family was super chill. They were super nice. Yeah. So how was it like meeting my family? Because the first time you came to Montreal, my cousins and her kids came to Montreal at the same time as it was your first time coming to Montreal to meet my family. You came for Christmas. Yeah, that was the first time. Because you were supposed to come the Christmas before that, but you didn't because something happened. So this time, that I think it was in 2018 or 19 that my cousin from the States came with her twins.
Mm.
And that was the first time you came to Montreal, and then you met my family.
Yeah, I think I had already met your aunt in Sudbury.
Yeah, like you
Like
met
she
some.
came down to Sudbury, and I met your sisters, I met your parents, and I met your aunt.
Yeah.
But I hadn't met your uncle,
Mm-hmm.
your cousins, or your cousin from the States as well.
Yeah, and her kids. Yeah.
Yeah, and her twin daughters.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was interesting. They definitely spoke their mind. Like, what did they say to you when I left the room the first time we met them? When I met them.
Yeah, so the twins, they're the cutest thing. They really are. They were only like, I think 6 at the time, I think. They were really young. And I'm telling you, kids really speak their mind. They're like, no filter. I don't even know when we lose that. But they were like, they saw him and they were super shy. They were like, hi. And then they ran away. And then like they came into the room where I was, and then Curtis left. And then they jumped on the bed and they looked at me. They're like, does your mom know? And I'm like, no, what? Is that really your boyfriend? And I was like, yes, why? And they're like, he's white. And I'm like, I know. And then they were like, is he really your boyfriend? I said, go ask the man. And they're like, no, I don't want to. And then Chris came back into the room and they said, they want to ask you something. And they're like, oh, no, we don't. And then they ran away. And after I told them what he said, what they said, I was like, wow, kids really they just say whatever comes to their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very outspoken, and they're super cute. But yeah, that's something that I was shocked that they said that, but then remember, it's all about like kind of like where you grow up in and what you see, right? So I think they were just shocked that we were in an interracial relationship.
Yeah. No, it's actually funny that they said that.
I'll just never forget that. And every single time, like I remember when you first came to Montreal, I remember that scene with them.
Yeah.
He's white. I'm like, I know, and that's okay. Is he really your boyfriend? In my head, I'm like, am I ugly, or are they just questioning if this man is really my man?
But yeah, no, all in all, I feel like you get along well with my family, like all of my family, really. And I feel like I get along good with your family. So it has turned out good over the years, and it's gotten better, more comfortable, and things like that. But I feel like your dad specifically, I think he really takes a liking to me in a sense of he's never had a son. And I feel like he can kind of relate to me because, my father passed away when I was young and his did as well, right?
Mm.
So I feel like in that sense, he wants to kind of present himself more as a father figure to me because I don't have that and I never did since I was 13. So I feel like that's something I actually really like about your dad. how he does kind of fill that role, I guess, in a sense.
For you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, yeah. Because he is very nice to me, and he, tries to help as much as he can, and he would always be there if I needed him or if we needed him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that, though?
I don't know. I just feel like, since I was young, since I was like 13 years old, I've had to kind of learn things a little bit on my own, like, basic things like mowing the grass, basic house maintenance, and certain financial things. Yes, my mom was there, of course, and she did help with a lot of things, but there's some things that usually a father teaches their child, right? And I've had to kind of learn these things on my own throughout the years. And now, like, I feel like it's nice to have someone that I can, like we mentioned earlier, like someone to actually do things with. Like we built the rack in the garage. When we first moved into this house, we were putting up like the film on the windows. Little things that we've done over the years, built different things. I've helped him at their place do a couple little things.
Move things, like the heavy things, like the
Yeah.
couches, so I don't have to do it.
Yeah, like he helped us actually move into this spot too, like unpack the U-Haul truck and things like that. So it is nice to have that. It is a good feeling. I don't know how to really explain it, but it does feel nice to have someone there that I can turn to if I need to.
Like another male.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And someone to do those things with.
Yeah. It's nice from, the daughter's point of view. I think from the daughter's point of view to see you guys get along. It really is. Because that's the type of image in my future that I've always dreamt of, the boys getting together, and going to see a hockey game or hanging out, drinking a beer together or something. And then, like, I've always dreamt from me on your mom's side gossiping together, which we do. Like,
yeah.
I've always wanted a connection from that side, where the girls would be like, oh, let's go shopping today. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go shopping. But just having, your mom, when my mom was so far away, was nice too, because it felt like I was going over to my family's house to have Christmas dinner or to have, Thanksgiving dinner. There was times where I didn't always go because I was always like FaceTime my family when they were all together. But the times where I did go, it was always a good time because you and your brother would cook. And I'll never forget the time where you guys had to cook Thanksgiving by yourself and they served raw turkey. Like, turkey was still frozen in the middle.
It wasn't frozen. It just
couldn't
wasn't
cut it
completely cooked yet. But we didn't serve it. We put it back in the oven.
No. Your mom took a piece of it. I was like, I don't think this turkey's done. And my head, I'm like, I know. I just didn't want to say that.
Anyway.
Yeah, it was good. The first time I tried turnip.
Turnip?
Yeah, that was the first time I tried turnip. And it was...
Yeah, my brother actually makes a really good mix. The turnip and carrots together, brown sugar and whatever else. I don't know what he puts in it, but it's very good.
Yeah. And it's nice because that's kind of like what my family does, like, at the end of eating, you guys all sit together and talk, right? Compared to my family, where after we eat, we're like, all right, clear the table, board games are out, we're playing Scrabble, or we're playing, what's that board game where you stack pieces on top of each other and you got to pull one out slowly?
Oh, Jenga?
Yeah, we played that. And we just play a bunch of board games at my house.
Rummy?
And then we talk. Yeah, Remy's one of them. Yeah. We'll play just a bunch of board games. We don't play Monopoly because I feel like Monopoly's too hardcore. And it would just start fights in the family that we don't want. So we play Uno.
That is one thing I really like about your family. How they all get together and play board games. It's a really fun night, and not to downgrade just sitting there and talking and catching up and things like that. That's still nice to do too, but it's fun to play board games. I enjoy playing board games.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
enjoy doing both, and I feel like maybe that's why I did look forward to always going to your mom's house, because I knew we would just sit down and talk, and it
Yeah.
would just, and when you left, like, it wasn't awkward,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And that was one thing that I always dreamt of, you know, like just a conversation that flows, like, you know, just good people that you just get along with,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. So that's something that I said I always wanted. And I'm just happy that, you know, it's not awkward when I go
Yeah.
see your mom. You know, there's no silence just there,
Yeah.
you know. So me and your mom both like to talk a lot. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, that's true. Very, very true. My mom could talk for hours. I feel like every time I talk to her on the phone, it's like at least an hour.
I know. It's true. It's
But
true, but I mean, she doesn't get to see you anymore,
no,
right?
no, no. You're right. You're right.
So
But
it's nice.
yeah, no, and I just want to touch on that a little bit because I feel like for me and you, we get along good, but I feel like that's only half of it. In a relationship, I feel like you almost need to get along good with the other side,
Mm.
the in-laws and things like that, because if not, that's just gonna put a little bit of strain on the relationship, and it's so much easier for the relationship to work
Mm-hmm.
if you get along with my side of my family and I get along with your side. I feel like it helps the relationship last longer,
Mm-hmm.
and it just makes it smoother throughout the years.
Yeah. But I think when it comes down to me, the parents, I think that yes, the parents have a right to say how they feel, but I think they need to respect that their son or their daughter has chosen this person to
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
be with, regardless if you like them or not. I think that in the relationship, there just has to be a mutual respect,
Yeah.
you know, and just if you don't like, you know, the mom, or if you don't like the other person, just show respect because that person raised the person that you love, you
Yeah.
know. And it is what it is. Like, you know, that person only has one parent,
Yeah.
one mother, one father, you know. And I just feel like if you love someone and you don't like their parents because of the way they treated you or anything like that, because I've been in that situation before,
Yeah.
but now that, like, I finally got to experience what I've wanted to experience for so long with somebody else, I know that I don't think that I will ever go back to accepting the
Yeah.
disrespect from that parent. But if I really want to be with someone, right, I have a right to say, no, you shouldn't talk to me that way because I think that's disrespectful. And I also think that if you know and you see that, you know, your parent is being disrespectful to the person that you want to be with, I think you should say something
Mm-hmm.
to stand up for that person and
No.
be like, you need to be more respectful to my wife because she's my wife, or be respectful to my girlfriend because this is who I really like, and there could be potential to be marrying him or her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that there needs to be a ground mutual respect there, and that's it. But I'm just really grateful that you've built a relationship with my family,
Mm-hmm.
and it's nice to see that. So, and I'm really happy that you like my family, and it's a mutual feeling. All right, so let us know how you guys felt when you first met the parents, and you can leave the comment on Instagram on our stories anonymously, because we will post a social cue question right after this. But if you want to comment in the comment section, the social cue question is, what was it like meeting the parents? So that is the social cue question. On Spotify, if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you will see the Q&A question, like I just mentioned. What was it like meeting the parents? So if you haven't yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button, like this video, share it, and we will see you guys in the next podcast.
Yep. Or you can click that link over there for our previous video.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next Sunday. Peace.
Take care.
Just being like, they said, I'm sorry, move on. Or if you don't say, I'm sorry, I think it's just accepting the fact that you may never even get an apology.
Yeah.